Greetings, Earthlings. Today I am back with a review of a new budget broadcast dynamic microphone. That microphone being the Polsen MC-Pod or McPod. I don't know if it's the whole McDonald's thing or not. If you are interested in this microphone, it will cost you between $80 and $100. Like always, I'll throw some links down below. And for this review, I have the microphone connected directly to the Focusrite 18i 22nd Gen. The gain is set at like maybe 437. It's up there. It's almost at 100%. I will not do any kind of post-processing, but I may boost it in post, so check the doobly-doo to see what I diddly did. Now let's talk about what comes in the box. What a shocker, you are going to get the microphone. It comes on a previously installed mount. You'll get a 5/8 to 3/8 inch microphone stand adapter, and a tiny bit of documentation. Then as far as the build quality, it feels perfectly sufficient for the price. It does have an all-metal body, but the metal feels a little bit cheap. It also does have a metal mesh grill, but it has a bit of give to it, so you may dent it if you drop the microphone. The mounting bracket on this is going to be metal. The screws that hold the mounting bracket are plastic, though. The threading on the mount is going to be a 5/8 inch threading, but it comes with the 5/8 to 3/8 inch adapter. On the rear of the microphone, you will find the XLR port, and if you're interested, this microphone is made in China. Then as far as the specs, the microphone has a cardioid polar pattern, a frequency response of 20 Hz to 20 kHz. Look at that frequency response graph. It has a sensitivity of around -57 dB and an impedance of 320 ohms. Now I am spinning around the McPod to 90 degrees so you can hear the off-axis rejection and coloration. We'll continue around the microphone to 180 degrees. Here's what it sounds like from the rear. Continuing around the microphone to the second 90-degree angle. Here you go. And then rotating and ending at the front of the microphone. Now let's see how well this microphone does at rejecting plosives. Please bring pizza pronto. Please bring pizza pronto. Please bring pizza pronto. Now I am right on top of the microphone to demonstrate the proximity effect on this thing. About 3 inches off of the mic with it pointed at the corner of my mouth, and here is how it sounds. About 1 foot away from the microphone, 2 feet away from the microphone, and about 4 feet away from the microphone. Now I am typing on a keyboard with Gatoron blue switches to see how much of my voice versus how much of the keyboard it picks up. Now for all the elite gaming folk out there, now I'm typing on them sad W keys. I don't know why I became southern there for a second. Here is how the microphone sounds in a well-treated room. And here is how the microphone sounds in a completely untreated room. Now to test the shock mount or shock rejection of this microphone, I will tap my desk to see how much of that it rejects. And I'll tap the boom arm. And like always, because I'm an annoying piece of garbage, I am going to go ahead and tap on the microphone to see if there are... I need to see if there are resonant frequencies. Now I want to do a very quick comparison between the McPod and a couple of other affordable broadcast dynamics and handheld dynamics to see how it stacks up against the competition. Like always, we'll start on the microphone we're reviewing. This is the McPod. Who is this by? Polsen. I am 3 inches off of this thing. Gain is set at around 430. No post-processing, but check the lower third to see how much I boosted it. Let's jump to the first mic and start the comparisons. First up, we are on the Zoom ZDM-1, which goes for about $80 if you buy the microphone just by itself. I am at the same distance, same gain setting. Check the lower third like I just said. See how much I boost each of these in post. But here is what an $80 microphone sounds like compared to another $80 broadcast dynamic microphone. Let's go back to that one. We are back on the Polsen Audio McPod, 3 inches off, gain still at 430, check the lower third. Here is how this microphone sounds, and let's jump to another mic so you can hear how this compares against that. Now we are on one of the most famous microphones of all time, the Shure SM58, $100 handheld dynamic microphone. I am 3 inches off of it. The gain on my 18i20 is at the same place, about 330-ish. And check the lower third. Here is what a $100 classic, very popular handheld dynamic sounds like compared to the Polsen MC-Pod. Let's do some more comparisons. What an absolute shocker. We are back on the MC-Pod again. Same distance, same gain setting. I just want you to be able to hear the microphone we're comparing all these against. Let's jump to the next mic and do that next comparison. Now we are on the SE Electronics V7. This is another $100 handheld supercardioid dynamic microphone. I am at the same distance, same gain setting. And here is just another option, another comparison point, another plotted point on the graph of what the hell is happening here. Listen to it, get a feel for it, and let's go back and do some more. I am very demanding today, aren't I? I apologize for that. Hey, we are back on the Polsen MC-Pod again. Here is how this microphone sounds. I know somebody in their marketing department is just screaming every single time I say it because I am almost certain it is MC-Pod, so they are probably losing their mind as I say MC-Pod, and that just makes it funny for me. But here is the MC-Pod, and let's jump to another mic and do some more comparisons. Now we are on the Presonus PD-70. This goes for about $130. It is another broadcast dynamic microphone. It's affordable, 3 inches off, gain still at 430. And this is what Presonus is offering in this price range sounds like compared to the Polsen. I'm never going to remember that name. I think this is the first Polsen that I have reviewed, or Polsen, I don't know. That's the Presonus here. Back on the Polsen again, here is how this microphone sounds. Get a sense for it, listen to it. This is the baseline. Let's jump to another microphone and hear how it compares against that. Second to last, we are on the Sontronics Podcast Pro. This goes for $150. I am 3 inches off of this thing, and it has a very hot output, so I decreased my gain to about 4 o'clock. Check the lower third for all of that information. And here is how this sounds compared to the Polsen, about double the price, $80 to $150. Sontronics, made in the UK, very cool there. Let's jump back to the Polsen and do one last comparison. Let's do that. And I believe this is going to be the last one. This is the Polsen audio, again, the MC-Pod or MC-Pod. Check it out, listen to it, get a sense for how it sounds, the characteristics of it, the top end, the mids, the low end on my voice. Let's jump to one last microphone and wrap up with that. And lastly, we have the MXL BCD-1. This goes for about $180. This is another broadcast dynamic microphone. Almost all of these have been. I am 3 inches off, but I decreased my gain to 4 o'clock because this output was significantly louder. But this is how this microphone sounds compared to the Polsen. More than double the cost. Do you think it's worth it? Let me know in the comments down below which of these microphones you liked the best. Was it the Polsen? Was it the MXL? The Sontronics, Shure, SE, Zoom, Presonus? Let me know in the comments down below. We love the stock, these are our stocks. Look at the stonks, we want our chicken tendies now. I know it's super duper cringe and it's coming across all, hey fellow kids, I got nothing to sing about, so I'm singing about internet-y things. Forgive me. Or don't, I don't really care. Do whatever you want. Okay, I don't think that I have a single thing to say to start this outro with, so let's jump right into the pros and the cons. And first up, in terms of pros, is the pricing. It is an incredibly affordable, broadcast-looking dynamic microphone. I'm still not 100% sure what a broadcast dynamic microphone requires to be labeled a broadcast dynamic microphone, but at least it looks the part. It looks cool, and a lot of people on video care what a microphone looks like. Also, I do think it did a fairly respectable job at background noise rejection. Then as far as cons, the microphone did a pretty bad job at rejecting bumps of the boom arm and desk, and given the shape of this microphone, it's going to be difficult to find a shock mount to fit it. Also, the microphone was brutal in terms of plosive rejection, and I think it gets to be a little bit sharp and sibilant up top and a little bit unpleasant and fatiguing. Then as far as my overall thoughts and opinions of this microphone, on the electric guitar, I was not a fan of it there. It has a very unnatural and hollow sound to it. It got a little bit piercing up towards the top of the guitar's register. Not good on the electric guitar, in my opinion. Then on the acoustic guitar, again, I wasn't a big fan of it. To my ears, the way I would describe it is shouty. It sounds as though the acoustic guitar is screaming and shouting into the microphone. Very bizarre sound, while also sounding dull and dead and all around unpleasant. I would not use this on the acoustic. Then for singing, I think this mic is tolerable. The top end to my ears is still a bit grating, a little bit grainy and sharp and unnatural sounding. But if it's the only microphone that you have, I think you could make it work. But if you have other microphones in your mic locker, this is nothing I would think you'd be reaching for. I know I won't be. And lastly, for spoken word, I actually didn't find myself hating it all that much. It offered a relatively full-bodied sound. The mids weren't as clear or clean as I would typically like. Sounds a little bit closed off there. And then when you get to the top end, you have that same issue with a little bit of sibilance, a little bit of sharpness, a little bit of graininess, which I do think will become a problem over really long-form content. And to wrap up, would I recommend the Polsen MC-Pod? Kind of. I actually believe that this microphone outperformed the majority of the other broadcast dynamic microphones that I compared against it. It had a bit more of a natural sound, although I think that may be saying more about the other broadcast dynamic mics I'm comparing it against than it says about this one. But of the broadcasty microphones that I compared it against, I do think that the Polsen outperformed the majority of them. The Zoom at $80 is another interesting option. A little bit less full-bodied, a little bit clearer, but I think the Zoom might be a little bit more fatiguing over extremely long periods. But the reason why I am only saying kind of is because if you're able to save up $20 extra, I do think something like the SEV7 or any number of handheld dynamics would probably suit a lot of people better, albeit it does not look as cool on screen, and I know a lot of people buy microphones based on how it looks on camera. I don't think you ought to be doing that. You should buy a microphone based on how it sounds, because microphones are designed to sound a certain way. But that's my crazy opinion. Buy a microphone that sounds good as opposed to looks good. But if you are one of those folks who wants a broadcast dynamic microphone and you're on a budget at $80, I think this is a pretty compelling option. All right, I think that's going to wrap up for today. I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. Which of the microphones that I compared the Polsen MC-Pod against did you like the best? Did you like the Polsen, the SE, the Presonus, Sontronics? Which one? Let me know down below. If you found this video fun, interesting, or helpful, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Hated it, thumbs down. Want more videos? You can subscribe. Logo down beneath me. And don't forget to hit that bell icon. We also do have a Discord server. If you want to hang out and discuss microphones all day, head over to podcastage.com/Discord. Yeehaw! And if you want to, why did I do that? If you want to support the channel and become one of these amazing people over here, you can do so by clicking that join button and joining at the $5 tier or higher. It really truly does help me continue to bring you these videos. So until next time, until this XLR cable gets out of my way, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you later. Bye.